Welcome back to Allison Customs Project Car TV. I'm Jeff Allison, and thank you for watching.
Back to Allison Customs. Today I am working on getting the drip rail smoothed out on this car. A lot of people they'll cut this off and then you just weld the roof panels back together and leave it off completely. What I'm doing is taking it and getting rid of the gap that's back behind here and shoving this piece of metal up against the roof so that we still have the shape of that of the drip rail, so you kind of have some shape coming off the roof here. It will also actually still provide a little bit of rain runoff away from the windows, but I thought I'd show you. So this section is normal. It's got the gap back here just like every one of your 60s and 70s cars. And then let me rotate the camera. Sorry for the background noise here. Just have a lot of fans and heaters and stuff going in the shop today. All right, so this section I've already cut off and set back in, and it's mostly tacked. I have a few more welds to run on the back side here, and then this one will be done. And then I just put 3 or 4 tacks across the top that I grind down. And then I'm going to show you one more section. That's over here, and this side is this curve is already complete. The gap is gone, but the metal is still there to give it the shape. And let me see if I can't just move the camera a little bit here and get you a little better view. Okay, so coming back to, this is the normal rain gutter area here. So you got the gap running down. And then we get to the area where I've already smoothed it out. And then we get to the finished product. And then down here on the bottom, this part of the rain gutter was completely rotted out from when we were replacing the quarter panel, so all of that has to be made, but it's not really that hard. It's just a couple of thicknesses of sheet metal here. So anyway, that maybe gives you a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. Let me put you back on the tripod, and we're going to start working on this next section. I never recommend doing more than maybe a foot at a time. So we're going to cut this in half, do one section, get it looking basically like this, and while we're working on this one will, if it's already cooled enough, we can go ahead and put some more welds on the back side. So kind of working 2 sections at one time, so that there's plenty of cooling for the welds. All right, so the first thing we're going to use is a saw. Because I'm not actually shaving it completely, we're going to make 2 cuts. We're going to cut once real close to the rib that we're wanting to keep, and then we'll cut close to the roof. And when I cut this section, when I was cutting along the roof, I went right on past it into this next section by at least the width of the blade there, so that I'll be able to keep cutting. So anyway, so we're going to start with cutting this one. We're going to finish this out probably in 2 pieces. There, I'm down to cut right along the inside edge. Same thing here, cut right on past, just a little way. Alright, so this is the piece we're going to be reusing. Just got to clean up the backside some. Get all that crud out of there. In the meantime, we need to get this lip that we left on there out. And this is where the roof and the inner skin here are welded together. They're tack welded about every 1.5 to 2 inches. So we're going to cut that off, and this gap is going to open just slightly We'll pinch it back together with some pliers and then weld that up. You can see stuff falling out of there that's been there. So we cut, oh, what is that? 3/16 of an inch or so off. So all I was doing there was smoothing out any remnants of that lip that I hadn't. Now, if you were just wanting to shave the drip rail altogether, you were done, you didn't want this look at all, then all you would do right now is clean that gap out just a little bit with some air. Okay. Clean that out. A few clamps. See that roof flexing right there. That's how much it's moved since we cut this off. Bring it back together. We're going to put some tack welds on it. So make a little more noise here. This is an important step. If you don't put this back together, even if you put this on there, this roof panel won't be welded or connected to this lower panel, except for maybe by these couple of tacks I put in it. And I only put those there just to keep this thing from moving. So you really got to make sure that you get this welded back together. Weld it every inch or so and probably call it good? Yes. But if you weld just every inch or so, there's a place for moisture to work its way in. And even though this should be sealed and it's going to be painted, I'd rather try and seal as much of that as possible to prevent future rust areas. So I'm going to go ahead and finish welding all this up, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so I used that 36 grit on the electric grinder there just to knock down all the high points. I'm not trying to get them smooth. And I'm using a 120 grit flap wheel here on this air one, so I get a little closer. It's going to be a little less aggressive, so I have a little more time to make adjustments. I'm going to do just a little bit of cleanup on the back side here. Now, try zooming in on that just a little bit. If you were just wanting to smooth the drip rails, you would pretty much quit right here. You pretty much quit right here. You do maybe a little bit more, you know, like I've got a little pinhole right there and a couple other little places. So you'd come back in and put a few more tacks and clean those up. And then that'd be pretty much it, you're done. But because that's not what we're gonna do, and we're gonna put this piece back on now, what we gotta do put it back on like that. And there's a little lip right here in the roof, and I'm trying to line that up towards just slightly below that, so that there'll be room to have a little bit of mud in there to finish this. So let me back you back off. So what I got to do next is just clean up the little bit of surface rust and the little bit of the rail, you know, the metal that I cut off that's not in there. Get all this cleaned up, and then we'll weld this one in. All right, so we've got the back of this cleaned up. We're going to get this tack welded in place. And now this gets welded from the back side. To get rid of these tacks across the top, I just use a cutoff wheel. Okay, so I still need to grind the inside of this weld, and then I've got to finish welding this side. I've got a pinhole right there, and I've got a pinhole where the last one was welded together, so I'm going to go ahead and put a weld on both of those. And then it's just repeat the same process again for the rest. guys. That's I guess flush mounting the drip rails or smoothing them out, whatever you want to call it. Not quite shaved, but that's how you do it. That's how I do it anyway. And like I said, just if you do it in sections, just maybe a foot, 14 inches at a time. Don't try and get 2 or 3 feet of it, because if you do that, this is going to split real bad, and it'll be real difficult to come back and get a nice straight line with that again. So just do small chunks. It's real manageable, and you're welding anyway, so what's a couple more spot welds across the face of that. So anyway, I still have to do the other side. Basically what I'm doing is trying to finish this car out.
Thanks for watching Allison Customs Project Car TV. Like us on Facebook and check us out at AllisonCustomsOnline.com.
Hey guys, just wanted to get back with you. Still have some t-shirts, large and extra large, gray and black, with the, I'm not even wearing one, but with the Allison Customs logos. Also have sweatshirts. I think I have large, and if I get enough orders, I'll order some extra large or whatever other size somebody would want. And I have the back to having some of the fire resistant work shirts with just the embroidered logo. There's nothing on the back, but it is a long sleeve. You see me wear them around the shop. They're great because they resist the sparks pretty well. They will eventually burn through, but because they're not fireproof, they're just fire resistant. But great work shirt, and they're fairly heavy, so they kind of give you a nice, almost a jacket feel. So this is just a short trailer, going to be added on to other videos. Just as a reminder to please, if you're using Amazon anyway, check our store. If there's something you see that I use quite often and you want to buy one, would like a link to it, let me know. I'll throw it up on the page. Amazon, going through the Amazon Associates store page, costs you nothing extra. It just supplies a little bit of income to the channel. And of course, as always, please like and subscribe on YouTube here. Links for the shirts and everything will be in the description of the videos. And I hope you guys have a great year. We'll see you in the next video.